Hey guys, NikkiPenny here, back on the center. And in my last episode, we went and fought the bosses again for the second time and won. So I figured with Aberration coming out, like just in a matter of days, that was probably the best way I could end off this series. So that's what I'm going to do. I am finished. I'm done here on the center. There's not much else I can think of to do. And I'm going to be obviously spending a whole bunch of time on Aberration and bringing some more content through that. I've also just started my new series on Svartalheim, so yeah, I think that's it for the center. It's been so much fun, and I think I've got a lot done. I've done a lot of things that I wouldn't usually do, and for my first YouTube playthrough, it's been a learning curve, but I'm really glad I did it, and hopefully we'll be bringing you guys tons and tons of new content for a long time to come. So I thought what we'd do here today is just a quick little recap of like what I've done, and yeah, we'll just say goodbye to the map, really. So I kind of makes sense to start at the beginning. So I've got all my creatures out that sort of were important to me along the way, and we started off not here. We started off down here on the map, just over here, I think. Somewhere around here was our first little base, and then we migrated down to here. So, and I haven't left. Usually I build in quite a few different places when I'm on a map. Like when I was on Scorched, I had multiple base locations and built out all across the map. But this playthrough, I didn't really do that. I kind of just stuck to my corner here and focused more on fighting the bosses and taming creatures. So, are you gonna be cool? You're not gonna bother me? All my creatures, you're gonna just chill? Can you just not come over here? Yeah, you'll be fine. So, look guys, as it always starts out, it was with my Pteranodons. I've got Blueberry and Sky. They were kind of the beginning of the process. Before I got my RGs. So I did heaps of RG breeding in the initial beginning, but these were kind of my main two. So we got Maverick and Furye. You would have seen me on them a ton. So yeah, flies wise, that's the way it was. In here, these were all my utility tames that I heavily relied on, especially for all the building I did. So a couple of Doties, couple of beavers, my Anki, got my early game raptors over here, kibble turtles, my carbies, and some of the orphans I adopted as I was sort of out and about doing things. So yeah, this building here was one of my, I think this was my first major building out here. I did tons of breeding in here initially with my berries and stuff, my spiders and everything, so it was really handy. I could do like mutation stacks over here, different ones over there, and then do them downstairs. So I could basically, yeah, I was just breeding tons and tons in here, so it sort of really fit the needs. And then we have obviously Neo here. And Neo was my little legend. I had so much fun taming the Pyromanes. Like, I didn't actually think I'd ever go for a Pyromane. And then, yeah, I don't know, I took on the challenge, and I think it oh, I just remember the pain in the ass it was, but like, yeah, great experience. Over here, I think this was like build number 2. I was getting into boss fight breeding territory, so I needed to upgrade from my first building over there. So we built this one here, and this one was for breeding of all my large creatures. So my boss fighting Spinos, who just not only do they look amazing, they actually were fucking awesome in the arena. So these guys went in twice, won twice. And on that note, I did breed up some Uties as well to go into the boss fight, but I never used them. Didn't need to. So those guys here were just, I never really ended up using them, but I did get some cool colors. And then most recently, obviously in my last couple of episodes, I got the Vector Spinus and took them into the boss fight as well. That boss fight was a bit of a hot mess, and look, to be honest, the Vecti, as cool as it is, I think I much preferred doing the first boss fight where I was on a Spino in amongst the action, rather than just standing back on this and courage roaring. So, look, lessons learnt. Now I know I like to be in amongst it in the boss fights, so I'll probably do that from going forward. Yeah, so this is pretty much it for, this is my big breeding building. I was really happy with how this build turned out, like really freaking happy. It just, yeah, I had a good time building it, and then aesthetically, like, I just think it looks really great. And then I can't forget my Gigantoraptors here. I've got Clive and Roberta. I honestly, these guys were tons of fun to go and tame. Well, not really tame, egg steal. Oh my god, the Gigantoraptor's mum was like so mad at me, and it was a learning curve, but yeah, another creature that had heaps of fun taming. So I haven't really done anything with them since. They've kind of just been up there looking all regal and beautiful. And then, I mean, my base is huge. Like, I took up such a large space, but I've ended up using a lot of it. What else have I got? This here was the initial plan to do all my breeding, water breeding, but I actually never really ended up using it, to be honest, so it just looks good. And then we've got, so some of my water creatures. We've got the Basil fairly early on, so that's Bruce. Surfactinus, I've got a whole Surfactinus pack out in the water. They were really good to tame up as well. Again, another creature I never thought I'd really tame, but I did. And another creature I really never thought I'd tame was a Mosa, but I did. And this thing here tested my patience. It was tough. Doing it without caves or anything to lure it into, or like just doing it in open water, was hectic. And then I ended up making a really good trap for it and managed to trap tame it. So I was really happy. Again, another tame that was really tough, but I managed to get through. So yeah, I've had a lot of those in this sort of playthrough. Like, really tough taming, but I managed to never give up and to just keep going and nail it in the end. So pretty stoked with that. And then I've got my Glaucus. So this is Crusoe, and this is obviously a modded creature on here, like the Vector Spinus. I've got a few modded creatures on this map. But yeah, Crusoe is super cool. That I understand why it's not in the main game, obviously, but imagine if it was, like, super cool. Sea dragons. Who doesn't want a sea dragon? Got the big boy over here. Again, Tiny Tim. Haven't really used him much other than for a bit of building towards the end game. But another very cool mod. Super, super cool modded creature, and I really hope to see this in-game eventually. And then we've got here our badass Dinosuchus, which were really easy to tame, to be honest, I thought. And they're just beasts. I love them. They're so good. And then we've got Hunter here. Hunter was one of our early game tames and breeds, obviously mutated. So Hunter was kind of very early on, getting me through caves and all that until I kind of could get a stronger creature, really. So Hunter was fab. Another one of those tames that were super tough. This here is Fidget. And Fidget was a pain in the ass. Go watch it. Honestly, go watch that episode. If you want to see me lose my mind, you want to see me try to tame one dino several times over because of my taming rates, and it was just, yeah, honestly. Oh god, like, that again, another tame was tough, but I didn't give up. And then this here was my Spino. So different to my boss fighting Spinos, this one here was mine that stayed in my pocket and yeah, helped me through the swamp when I needed to go out there and do things. There's not really much else. I've got over here like my kibble farm. So this has just got all the UTs in here for my kibble eggs. A necessity farm kind of thing, and then I've also got again another farm over here. So this is my polymer farm, completely invaluable, so highly recommend making a polymer farm if you can whenever you play. It's amazing how much it helps. And these are my raptors here that were doing all the gathering of the polymer, as you can see. So a couple of raptors, tons of babies, get them to drop down, put your raptors on aggressive, and you'll have polymer for days. One of the builds that I'm most proud of here was my workshop. I think this workshop came out absolutely amazing. I was really happy with this build, and I had all the essentials, and I do have all the essentials. So this was, yeah, main workshop, all I needed, but I think it turned out amazing. I just really liked the design I used on that. And obviously we got the tech replicator from doing the first boss fight. Those are my aviaries that I built really early on when I started here. So the Pteranodons and the Argies had somewhere to live. Greenhouse, and this was my little base, kind of like my little space. But in the end, I kind of felt like I needed a much bigger space to live. So I headed up over there and did some more building. I got these thorax spiders, bred them, mutated them pretty early on. These frogs were from Dickfeld. Like, just going through it all now, there was so much. So many creatures, and a lot more than I remember, but I guess that's what you do. And this was my last build, so this here became my home, my final base. I love the serenity of it. Mainly when I'm AFK, I just come up here and hang out while everything breeds down there or is doing whatever it's doing, and I just hang out up here. So yeah, it was kind of just somewhere a little bit more majestic for me to live than that tiny little hut. And it overlooks all of my little town that I made. So kind of wasn't much else I wanted to build or could have built. I think it all came together really well. So I think that's pretty much the long and the short of it, really. It's really hard to wrap things up, to be honest, especially after you've done so much. But yeah, my giant big water pen here. Like, I really did take over this entire bay, opposite the redwoods, right close by the swamp, the snow area. It was pretty good location for me. And like, that's a pretty cool little town. I think I did great. I knew I needed quite a bit of space. I didn't think I needed this much space, but everything got utilized. So yeah, but guys, that's that. I'm going to wrap it up. I have absolutely run out of things to say and to do. I've had a really good time on here though. The only one last dino, I think if I was to stay playing on the centre, would be probably a Shasta. The only reason why I haven't tamed one is, look, I've watched a lot of other people tame them, play with them on YouTube and stuff. I just think for the amount of effort that needs to be put in, it really isn't going to be a creature that suits me. So I could stay on here and I could go and battle my way through taming one and get it, have a saddle, but it doesn't really do it for me. So I think I'm just not going to. And so what? Like, everyone else is doing it. You want to see a taming video on it, you can find plenty out there. So look, it's just not for me, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, I just want to say big thanks for anyone who has watched one of my episodes, who liked one or became a subscriber. This is my first playthrough on YouTube doing ARK Survival Ascended, and I will be bringing you more content. Check out my Svartalheim playlist. That one's just starting off, and obviously Aberration. So there's not much else for me to say other than thanks for everything, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did find yourself liking this one at all, please like and subscribe, all that good stuff. I appreciate ya. See you soon. Cheers. Bye.